And I'm rocking with that ChessNotChekkers TV cake ass now.
Little Bill, showing 20s on Pirelli skills. Got your pupils dilated like the mix pills. No time to stop, focus only on the meal.
Never said nothing, but I ain't know though.
You've been hiring me enough to know you weren't supposed to talk to the police.
But I'm just saying, you know,
they set him up with the okey doke.
Because people believe that the police are telling the truth. They don't realize that the police can lie to you.
We do.
To get you to talk. But what they did illegal was they were supposed to Mirandize him first.
But I'm feeling like, well, I ain't down here doing no snitching. I ain't telling on nobody.
You just talking about
yourself.
yourself.
I'm just telling them what they already know. What happened when I got arrested. But what Ms. King also taught me was that the feds can't use state's evidence. So even though that they had the state's evidence,
well, they can use it, but they're not going to use things that are obtained illegally.
By me saying it though,
right?
That created their evidence.
That created. Oh, so those were the federal officers that were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
and I ain't had no idea that they were even federal officers.
The Fed. Oh,
like I said, it was an old black man and a young black man, and they were sitting there talking about.
They be your people,
that they was investigating the Harris County Police Department. That's what they told me.
That's 18 years
ago.
So
I didn't even know that he was even know.
And let me tell you what's
that they were even federal agents.
And let me tell you what's even colder.
So I went back to court.
Let me tell you what's colder. Federal agents, you know, federal and state, they can both lie to you to get you to talk. But if you lie to a federal agent, that's a crime. If you lie to a federal agent that's interviewing, that's a crime.
But he got to identify himself as a federal agent,
I'm just
though,
telling
don't he?
you, it's best to exercise your right to remain silent. Because I'm just telling you, they didn't identify themselves as federal agents. He didn't know that.
I done been interviewed by the Texas Rangers before, and they didn't identify themselves. The only reason why I peeped it because I looked at his waist and I'm like,
he had that badge on the side.
But he had it flipped around. I said, "What's that on your waist? That's a badge." And then once I recognized it, he had to go on and show it to me. Wow, man.
It's best to.
But he was trying to talk to me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a trick. It's best to say, "I'd love to talk to you, officer, but I need to talk to you with a lawyer. I need to get counsel." I mean, just say it nicely. I mean, I wouldn't be sassy with him or inappropriate, but. This is crazy. You can lie to a state officer, a police, HPD. You can lie to them. It'll be used against you. It's not good, but it's not illegal. Do you follow what I'm saying? It just shows your credibility is bad, and that'll be used against you. But you can't lie to a federal officer. So the moral to the story is: do not talk to a lawyer to a police officer without a lawyer. Now, I've had some of my clients, once they hired me, we've gone in and talked to the police. In sexual assault cases, I've actually typed up their statement for them, and gave it to the police because the guy told me the story and I knew if he told his side of the story and I believed him, he wasn't in trouble. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? It was not, what he told me was defensible.
It wasn't incriminating.
Yeah, right, it wasn't incriminating. I've done that. And then there have been other times when the people won't get their story straight and I call the police and say, no, he's not gonna talk to you.
Cause he gonna sabotage himself.
He ain't getting it straight with me.
And then you don't want to lose your credibility.
Right. No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna get involved with no lying. We're just not gonna talk about it. Right. We're just not gonna talk about it. So it's coming back to me a little bit now because that was a long time ago. But I do remember that they made you talk. Yeah, the federal guys are creating their own police report.
Then when I came back to court, they was like, we're gonna have to reset you because the feds picked the case up. I'm like, what?
I think that vest probably had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, because them dudes, they was asking me like, what organization are you a part of? And this and that. I'm like, what? They were like, where you get the bulletproof vest from and how did you learn how to get out of handcuffs?
Yeah, they're up the ante.
I'm like, dude, I bought the bulletproof vest from the store.
And you thin. So
from the gun store. Like they were selling them. Like you go in the gun store, they was on the wall in every gun store. I bought it from there, and y'all ain't put the handcuffs on tight. That's how I got out of it. Like it wasn't no magic trick.
You too gangster.
Like, what y'all thinking? This ain't a magic trick.
You too gangster, man.
But yeah, they really tricked me like that though.
So then there's the federal deal. So we get to court, the federal case. They pick him up with the federal case. But one of the things I read about your federal case is, so I'm just gonna read his indictment. Most federal indictments, because I used to do a lot of Medicare fraud. And fraud cases, they might be 20 pages, 30 pages, 100 pages. It's some really long federal indictments. This is the shortest one I've ever read. 2 pages.
Because I really wasn't even supposed to have no federal case.
Right. So this is federal, and I'm gonna give y'all a little quiz after I read this, okay? So he got indicted in federal court May 30th, 2007. So the grand jury charges that on or about February 13th, 2007, in Houston Division of the Southern District of Texas, the defendant, Billy DeMont Crawford, having been convicted of a crime punishable by imprisonment for a term exceeding 1 year, did knowingly possess in and affecting commerce a firearm, one Smith & Wesson model 66-6, a .357 caliber revolver pistol, I like those ones, which had been transported in interstate commerce in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 922G1. So that's as far as I'm gonna go. But basically, for that so it's a crime not only to have the pistol, but to have the ammunition.
And then, this is what I never understood
ammunition
about.
is
I don't
a crime.
mean to cut you off, Ms. King.
Yes.
I gotta say, I don't understand this about federal law. They talking about being transported over state lines. I ain't take the gun nowhere.
Okay, that was the quiz. That was what I was gonna ask you.
How in the world?
Danny, know-it-all, Danny, you've been doing this with me for years. So tell me, why do you think, because to be federal, it has to, one of the main reasons, there are other reasons, but it has to cross interstate lines. So why do you think that it's a federal crime?
Well, not based on what he just said.
I ain't took it nowhere.
Line.
I got the gun in Houston. I got arrested
So remember this paragraph.
I ain't taking nowhere.
One element is it has to be, whatever your sentence was before has to be over a year. So that's so in Texas, Louisiana, Vermont, because federal was a felony in Texas might not be a felony in another. So what matters is over a year. In Texas, anything over a year that you're sentenced to is a felony. Okay, so that's the first prong.
Over a year of what?
Because you've gotten that burglary of a building.
Over a year.
So you use your pliers?
No. The punishment on the state case has to be over a year.
I got you.
Whatever the punishment is has to be over a year. It has to be a felony. But a felony is not the same in every state.
So by me getting sentenced to over a year in my state case, that made it.
On a prior case that you'd already gotten out of prison for.
Oh,
it has to be over.
Gotcha.
It's not some concurrent that's pending.
Okay.
You have to have been convicted of a crime where the punishment was over a year, and you did over a year.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, the reason why I'm telling you that lesson is because in Missouri, a certain amount of marijuana might be a misdemeanor. That's a felony here. So that means if it's a misdemeanor there, the punishment's under a year. But it could be, say, 10 grams of cocaine might be a misdemeanor in another state, where you can never do over a year. But here, the punishment is over a year if you go to prison. Does that make sense? Yes. It's what the category of punishment is.
It's a threshold for the feds to be able to prosecute it.
Right, so that they don't have to know what the law is in each state. So it has to be that whatever you got convicted for, the prior felony, it has to be over a year. It doesn't say felony. It has to be a crime for a term exceeding 1 year.
Okay.
You know what?
Does that make sense? You're looking kind of frowning.
No, I get it.
But okay, go ahead.
I think that they really was pissed off based on his actions, and they upped the ante to where let's make him pay more than a heavier price.
That's possible. Let me tell you something else though. There was a time that the ATF had a special contract with the feds to go. Were they ATF officers? Do you remember?
I don't know what they were.
I can't remember.
I guess they were some kind of federal agents.
Well, ATF.
I didn't know who they was at first.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms is. So there have been certain times that the federal government is cracking down on guns, and so they might say we're going to create 30 United States prosecutor positions just to go after firearm cases. Yeah. And when that happens, they transfer a lot of the state cases over to the feds. They call them, the prosecutors call them.
So let me ask you this,
Or the officers call them.
This is a question, this is something that I had talked about too. Do you think at certain times that the feds target certain types of crimes?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Because that fill the quota. Like why we got, this is my speculation, to justify us doing this job, we're waiting for certain cases that fit the profile to justify why we're here doing the job, right?
Certain presidents want to go after
different things.
Guns
right.
and alcohol. Some of them is fraud, Medicare fraud. So it just depends. It's all coming down from Washington, D.C. as to what they're targeting. So there have been times that it's a whole bunch of felon in possessions in state court, in regular court. They don't go over to the feds.
They don't go to feds.
But
right.
the feds, yeah, because when I was at the DA's office, they were asking them, and they
I
were.
think I caught with guns before. You actually got a
I know.
case for
You
me
got a
dismissed
gun.
before,
I got a gun case
and none of them
dismissed.
never went federal.
And one of them got
until
dismissed.
that-
I was
just that
reading.
one.
One of them I got dismissed for you. I was reading the prosecutor put on there. You had a receipt for it or something. Was it one you had bought or something? It was a marijuana case and a gun case. I read about it, and I think you had the prosecutor put on there. He had a receipt. But anyway, don't worry about it.
No. I think that was my friend gun.
Right.
He had bought the gun and he had the paperwork
He had the
for
receipt.
it, and it was in the car. Yeah,
Right.
they
That's
found it.
that's why I got it. That one
Right.
dismissed.
He left it in the car.
He left it in the car,
Right.
and she believed him. But let me go to this. Okay, so I'm going back to this federal indictment. So any crime that you've been convicted of where the punishment exceeded over 1 year, that's one. And the interstate commerce part. So it says exceeds over 1 year, knowingly possess in and affecting commerce a firearm, one Smith & Wesson, affecting commerce. Are guns made in Texas? Guns aren't made in Texas.
Right.
So any gun that's in Texas had to cross state lines.
Okay.
Wow, what a
Okay. So
technicality.
wait a minute now.
Guns are not
Shouldn't that
manufactured.
mean that the stores that's selling them?
Be held accountable?
No, because no.
Why not?
No.
Why am I
I'm
held
just
accountable
telling you-
for having it and he not held accountable
For
selling
selling it.
You have to ask Congress.
See what I'm saying?
But listen to me. I'm just telling you what the law
That's what I
is.
don't
The
understand.
law is if you've been to prison for over a year, and because once you've been to prison over a year and you're a felon, you're not supposed to possess a weapon anymore. Period. So that's the crime. Listen to me.
that's the crime. I understand that part. Though.
But I'm just letting you know
Understand that
why
part.
that other prong is why they put the name of the gun in here. I'm just telling you because it has to affect interstate commerce and guns. All guns affect interstate commerce, but by the fact that there's a gun doesn't make it illegal. What made it illegal is you have something that affected interstate commerce and you've been to prison for over a year.
Can I throw one of my friends up under
I just
the
want to
bus?
make sure that y'all understand that.
I understand.
Right. Can I give a real life
understand.
example?
Wait, and I want to go one more. And the punishment is not to exceed 10 years. That's a big punishment.
I understand,
So when
but
my
it still
client, let me just
ain't
say
logical.
this. So when my clients used to get felon in possessions in state court, I said, let's go ahead and get this time. If you did
Get it
it,
right quick,
let's get this time because you never know when the feds are coming. They don't make no announcement like, okay, this year we're after gun cases. But what the years that they're doing it, we find out from the prosecutors that say, because ATF, they start contacting the DA, say, okay, if y'all get a good case, there's a good, clean case, let us know about it. They don't want anything convoluted like that case you had before with somebody else's gun. They don't want that. They want it
So
to be
you
clean.
saying that the DA is the one that recommend the cases to the feds, or the feds just come in and just say, I want this, I want this one?
Both. The feds, when it's a time that when they have like an ATF contract, like they sent extra agents down here to get those cases, then they call the DA's office.
Okay, yeah.
Or they might be the ones that do it. But there are times when DAs want somebody to have a harsher punishment, and they'll call
Right,
and see
'cause
if
they
they'll
mad
take
at
it.
it, yeah.
They'll call and see
Yeah,
if they'll
I
take
got
it. But listen to me. But the feds usually won't take it. They have their orders from DC, so they'll say, no, we're not doing that right now. So I'm just letting you know because they're calling the federal prosecutors. The prosecutors, they might be targeting sex crimes right now. So all of the DAs, because the prosecutors in federal are working with the agents. They work more closely with them. So they might say, no, we're busy with what we're doing. We can't take any new ones.
I just quickly, there are two things I want to, because I have a good friend, and I met him in prison. He's out right now. I'm not going to say his name, and I won't give enough information for anybody to know it. But he and I had this discussion about possessing weapons post all this time we served. And I wasn't hard on him, but I was like, I can't understand how we served all this time and you feel the need to have a gun for protection.
Right.
I said, and if you get caught with it, as much as we want to stay out of prison, you have the confidence to have something that will automatically put you in prison because you're a felon. But you said this is to protect you. So protect you from what? And so my second part of that question, because I'm gonna play this back to him, so I threw you up under the bus, because I tried to convince him that it didn't make nonsensical to have a weapon and have priors. But what do you see that if I'm a felon and I get pulled over and I got a gun, how much time am I facing? I ain't committed a crime with it. I just got a gun on me. And
Depends on how much time you've done in the past. I mean, are you a habitual?
well over a year. Oh,
No. Listen to me. Are you a habitual? Do you have 5 priors? Do you have 3 priors? For you, since you got 3 priors, 3 that I know of.
right.
Three prison trips that I know of. You gonna be faced because you at 25 to life.
I started 25.
Yeah, because you got 2.
Just for a dry gun, just dry gun, cause I'm scared.
Hey, listen, I don't want to interrupt y'all.